Hello and welcome back to our second episode of our Let's Play a Vintage Story. So in our first episode, we managed to find a really cool ruin that we're going to be using to make our initial home, and eventually I'd like to restore this tower with a proper roof and exterior appearance. But what we're going to go ahead and do right now is we're going to spend a little bit of time kind of exploring our immediate surroundings and see if we can find some clay. Before we do that, we're going to go ahead and make ourselves a shovel. Okay, perfect. And we're also going to go ahead and make ourselves an additional axe, because we're going to be cutting down a lot more trees. Awesome. Okay. Alright. Let's go ahead and just take a look and see what we have to the south here. Now one of the big things that we're looking for is a source of clay, so we can start making some bowls to put properly cooked food in, as well as to make additional storage containers, ways for us to preserve our food, as well as molds for eventual metalworking. So it looks like, if you see here on the map, I'm just going to open it up here. This little spot right here is a good sign that there might be clay here. There's also another structure right here. So we're going to go ahead and keep moving towards it and hope that we have ourselves a nice clay deposit. And that does indeed look like clay. So let's go ahead and grab some of this. And you can see there's actually a very big patch of it. So let's go ahead and grab some of this, because we can start forming our clay vessels as the sun goes down and give us something to do before we go to sleep. Just going to grab a full stack of this for now, since we're pretty limited on inventory space, which should go pretty far for this initial set of things that we need to make. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and see if there's anything interesting in this ruin over here, which I think there may actually be two of them, if I'm not mistaken. Now we have basically no room in our inventory right now, so we're going to have to carefully consider what we're going to go ahead and run back home with, if there's any loot. Now, one thing I'm not very sure about in this game is what item despawning rules there are, to see if there are any. Let's keep heading towards these ruins. These do look like they're fairly extensive ruins as well, on first glance. No, I guess they're not ruins. Unfortunately, they just looked like they were. Over here, I do see what looks like some foundations. Just to see if there's any clay pots. Okay, so unfortunately I didn't immediately see anything of interest in those ruins. We'll go back later and do a fuller investigation. Um, but in the meantime, we need to start heading back. What I'm also going to do right here is I'm going to place a map marker here just so I can remind myself that there is a clay deposit here. Just going to mark it like that. We're going to change the icon over to something like this. We're going to give it a... let's give our resource icons a green color for now. Doesn't stand out very well on the minimap, but I'll fix it later. Oh, and we got some wild things right here, so I'm going to go ahead and just add this right quick. We're going to come back and get these when we are in a position to actually plant a field and put a fence around it so none of our little critters can take it. Oh, that was almost some lost hit points right there. Let's go ahead and grab this flint. Always good to grab flint so we can get consistent access to some metal. Okay. So we've made 16 cattails so far, so that's good. Just gonna throw down this dirt right here. And I'm gonna restart this fire. So we can cook the rest of these cattails. Now, because of the way sleeping mechanics work with speeding up time, we're going to lose a decent chunk of our hunger if we go to sleep. But I'm just going to eat enough just to avoid that being an issue as we fall asleep. So let's go ahead and sleep. You can see that it's speeding up time here. You can see that our hunger drained a decent chunk. Okay, so let's see, what time is it currently? So right now it's 2 in the morning, so we went to bed at too early of a time, unfortunately. You can see the landscape is pretty dark around us still, but that is okay. What we can go ahead and do is get ready for the day that's coming up next. So what we're going to do first is we're going to throw down some clay and get some... first things first, we're going to get a cooking pot going. So this will allow us to make some actual meals. And what we'll need to do is once we finish making these raw clay vessels, is we'll need to fire them in a pit kiln. So let's go ahead and get our light back. Okay, let's go ahead and make some bowls. And now all the fun monsters are coming to say hi. But we're not going to mess with them if we don't have to. But unfortunately, they are right outside the door, taking an interest in us and our clay forming right here. Let's see if this works. Well, it it kind of works. Overdoing it a bit, unfortunately. Thankfully, clay bowls are not too difficult to make. There we go. Okay, we got 4 of these. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and dig a hole here. We're going to dig a hole here as well. Okay, let's go ahead and place these in here. Our clay pot in there. And another thing that we can go ahead and make is we can make some storage vessels. So let's go ahead and make that just so we can start to store things at home and not carry everything on us all the time in case we die. Let me check on the fire here. We're already pretty low on wood. Let's go ahead and convert the rest of this into firewood so we can refill that stack. Go back to our clay forming here. So what I'll do is I'll finish putting together this clay pot right here and get everything set up to go ahead and start making our pit kiln. Okay, so I exited the house, and I managed to kill one of these things as they were trying to escape. So let's go ahead and see if there's anything inside of these. Fortunately, none in that one. And I believe the other one has run away into their cave, so it is what it is. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to gather the necessary supplies to get our pit kiln going. So the first thing we need to do is we need to put down some grass, and we have 3 different things that we'll be doing. There's one, and we're going to need more grass, so let's go ahead and just pick it up from here. Okay, there went another knife. So we'll need to make a new one of those. So in here we have our cooking pot. We have our bowls to eat our meals from. Oh, let's go ahead and eat something. Go ahead and grab the rest of these. Let's cover this up. Now, the next thing that we're going to need is we're going to need a bunch of sticks, as well as firewood, to go ahead and finish building our pit kiln. So I'm just going to chop down one of these trees over here. This one is probably going to take a while. There it is. Lots of wood. Really a decent number of sticks, 11 sticks. We're going to need more than that. A lot more, actually. Okay, let's go ahead and cut down some of this underbrush. And we're also going to be needing a new knife. Oh, got ourselves a wolf over here. I would not like to mess with you today. Well, unfortunately, there's our first death. Thankfully, we're not too far away from our stuff, so let's go ahead and retrieve it. Still annoying, of course. There's that chicken we heard earlier. Several chickens. I'm gonna have to start chicken farming. Oh, and we got some more, we got some spelt here. Let's go ahead and mark that on the map. Got more things to add to our eventual garden once we get it set up. So let me just, I'm gonna... what's a good icon here? Let's go ahead and just use this. Oh, it'll be fine. Alright, let's go retrieve our things. Definitely annoying. I think we were headed over this direction when we died. Some more spelt back there. There it is. Okay. Thankfully, that seems to be most of it. Okay. Alright, quickly, let's go ahead and just make a knife so we can actually chew through this underbrush a little bit better. Or these shrubs. But yeah. Predators in this game definitely a threat for us at this point, because we're basically defenseless. Okay. And I'm also going to go ahead and go ahead and use the rest of this for firewood that we're going to need. Okay. Okay. Oh, there it is again. Let's go ahead and run away. Better to live and run away at this point than die and lose everything. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it looks like we're going to need a spear. So let's go ahead and do that. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and get at least some of this going. Since we've already wasted enough time already. I'm gonna go ahead and prioritize the cooking pot. Okay, so that'll eventually fire into a cooking pot. Now, let's go ahead and make ourselves a spear. That wolf is definitely out there. And are we able to make a club? If we had a solid log, we could, but we don't, so that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to make another spear. I'm going to go for throwing one and stabbing with the other. Okay, let's go ahead and put down all of this firewood. Oh dear. Okay. Let's not have our wood supply burn down. That would be bad. Okay, let's make our other spear. Okay. Let's go and see if this wolf is still around to cause us a problem. Okay, it appears the wolf is gone again, much to my annoyance. So let's go ahead and continue on with what we're trying to accomplish today. And another reason that kind of clearing all this underbrush away is it does help give you better lines of sight around your shelter, which is really useful for spotting animals to hunt or other predators. Let's go ahead and Continue gathering up sticks. Just going to continue to clear the brush around here. Okay, we're sitting at another 8 sticks. Oh, and it looks like we have another cave entrance right here. Okay. Let's go ahead and get our other thing cooking. This time it's going to be our bowls, so that when we prepare our food, we have something to eat out of. Let's grab wood. Now, eventually, what we'll be wanting to do is we'll be wanting to switch over to things like charcoal for our primary fuel source, which I know for sure it is one of our early game ways of getting high enough temperatures to melt things like copper, but as to whether or not it stays at a higher temperature for longer, so is it more efficient, that I am not sure of yet. Keep gathering these up. Excellent. Oh, we got another cave over there. Okay, let's go ahead and get our third thing going. And I'm hoping that what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my bedroom to be upstairs, out of the way of what's becoming sort of our work area, and I'll add an actual floor here in a moment. I just don't want something as valuable as our bed to burn down, which would be bad. Now the question is, there it goes. Perfect. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and grab some of these raw crops that I found. We're looking for things that we can cook into a meal pretty soon. So let's head back out here. And we also have these berry bushes. Okay, good. It's not poisonous. So very important not to eat something poisonous. And we're going to go ahead and move these and replant them closer to our home, just so they're a little bit easier to check on and harvest. So we're going to grab those as well. These are close to flowering, so I'm going to leave them be just so we can have something to eat from. And I'm going to add another marker here. I'm going to make them red, just so we can come back for them. Let's go ahead and grab these wild crops from right here. Awesome. Okay. Now, unfortunately, our storage is a little bit limited. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to go ahead and just plant them here. So eventually we'll have a couple more trees. Okay, so these ones are done. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest these. Okay, not bad. Okay, we only got one seed, unfortunately. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this and pick these up. So each of these will restore 100 saturation. But ideally, I would like to grab these. Let's go ahead and take all of the seeds that we can. So we got 3 seeds out of that. Not amazing, but it's definitely something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete that since we don't need it there anymore. And we're gonna also just check these other sort of off-color green flecks and see if that points us to any additional wild crops. Some more berry bushes right there. Let's see. So, unfortunately, after doing a little bit more digging around, we weren't able to find any additional wild crops on top of the onions we were able to find earlier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and call an end to this episode. But next time we're going to go ahead and take a look at our newly fired clay vessels, and we're going to look for some additional sources of food because starving to death sucks. I want to thank you very much for getting to the end of the video. If you did, if you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate it if you went ahead and left a like, and I'll see you next time.